Hey guys, welcome to Vidovic Arts. I'm Josh, and I haven't changed my clothes or my little hat here from the previous video because I have been making video after video on one day. So yeah, I wanted to get all of these out as soon as possible, and I've got this one very short time frame window that I can release these before it's no longer October, and that's really bad. So here we are, we're gonna go straight into this. This is a little bit of Orc terrain. It's not a huge video, it's not a huge project or model, but I think a lot of you will appreciate just the small amount of terrain that you'll be able to pump out of your 3D printers. So I started with a reference from my older project of models. These are the Orcs from 2019, and I kind of use this as my base plate to see how high I should make these walls. Now, there are only 3 of them, and I know that doesn't sound like a very inviting idea. Like, oh, there's only 3 walls, what's the point of printing these? It's not going to look good. But what you can do is you can grab one of them and flip them around and in the slicing program, and you can get more than 3 out of these. You could get max 6. You can get max 3? No. You can get 6 of them, and you could probably scale them up as well, and kind of like merge them together. You can customize these as much as you want if you wanted to at all, and hopefully you do, because you know I really want to see what you guys do with this. But yeah, it's just a small little cover piece for like a single orc really, but if you print all 3 of them you should be able to connect them together. I don't know, it's completely up to you. But the idea with these pieces is they're all made out of different kind of materials. Well, lore-wise, this one would be made out of steel, and it's got like a really rough, rugged kind of hodgepodge slapped together with shitty bits of metal, and it's been welded and riveted together, and it's not the best piece of work that you could imagine from an orc, but it is functional, and that's all that matters. So this is just a wall, and I have I wanted to make it look really jagged, so I've come up with this technique where I basically line up a whole bunch of sticks and then I cut out from those sticks. And I know a lot of people aren't really happy with the idea of booleaning your work because the edges, your edge flow just doesn't work at all, and I don't care because it's going to be 3D printed, and I make sure that my model is where I want it to be before I actually cut things out of it and get those really intense kind of shapes that would take forever to model if I was to do it normally. But you know, it works, and I think it looks really cool, and if anyone knows what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But if you don't, then don't worry about it, because it doesn't really matter. If you print these up, they'll print really cool looking. And yeah, this is pretty much how I go about making, you know, any kind of model with orcs. I didn't really have an idea beforehand, I just went into it and had fun. And like I said in one of my previous videos, I think it was the last one, I want to make an orc dice tower. And I came up with that idea while I was working on this, because just orcs, you can do whatever you want with them and you can get away with it. And I feel like a lot of people like that are doing modeling physically and not doing 3D printing will hate me for doing this. Because this is pretty much the one thing that people say, don't 3D print this. Go out there and sculpt it for yourself. Get some, you know, bits and pieces. Get toothpicks and stick them into foam and do all that kind of fun stuff. And I'm completely okay with that. Do that. It's fun. It is really fun. I think it's kind of better than 3D printing sometimes. But when I'm modeling this, I have a lot of fun doing it. I think some of you guys have a lot of fun just printing and customizing your own stuff. So don't let people who say don't print this stop you from printing things, because you're having fun and that's all that matters. And you know, not everyone has the time to get foam and cut it out and do all that kind of mishmash stuff. So the dice tower will be made on the same kind of platform as these. So they're gonna look like garbage, really. They're gonna look pretty bad, but that's the idea. Hopefully I can make a cool looking terrible dice tower that is designed for orcs. Now there's a lot of riveting going on in the previous videos and in this video as well. Riveting is basically getting a circle or like a half circle and placing them around the objects to make it look like they've got rivets. but it looks pretty easy. But I honestly, I'm being completely honest with you, this is a very, very annoying and time-consuming, frustrating part of the model, because when you've got different edges as well, like you've got curved edges or just edges on an angle, it's really hard to line up and make perfect. And I have made previous mistakes in models. I have made mistakes in previous models where I've had rivets that are just hovering out of nowhere, and if you try to print something that's just hovering in space, it really doesn't work well. But yeah, I think rivets are one of the coolest things that I've added into these models. When you print them up, there's just so much more detail just because of these dots that are everywhere, and you don't realize it. But yeah, I feel like rivets are the one thing that make orcs look like orcs, as stupid as that sounds. Yeah, it's just a really cool little detail that I never really thought about talking about to you guys. But in all honesty, this video is, you know, there's not really much going on. It's just a fun little wall project, and you're more than welcome to grab these parts and customize them more if you really want to. So if you know what you're doing with modeling in any kind of program, if you're using Blender or whatever, you can grab these and you can slap them together and make bigger walls out of them, or you can change them and put them on tanks or something. You can do whatever you want. I'm over the moon with the modders that are out there, people who mod my work. I'm calling them modders, but they're I can't even remember what the term is for them, but they're really awesome dudes, and I really want to actually promote you guys more. So if you are working on my models at all, be sure to share them over on Instagram, or just get in contact with me one way or another, and show me your work, and I'm gonna work out a way to kind of share, you know, the best of the best kind of works that are out there, people who are customizing my stuff and making making my work look even better than it actually is. So yeah, if you guys are working on that kind of stuff, be sure to share it, because I love it, and I'm certain that others love it as well. Now, when it comes to terrain, there's pretty much no limit on what you can work on. So if you don't like these, or if you want to get something different, I suggest that you know, start learning some Blender, and you'll be able to make these really lickety split. And they're not too hard to make. You can pretty much just get cubes and put them together, and then, you know, put some rivets together, and you're going to be making some pretty cool objects. And one of the coolest things about this is you're not limited to anything. Orcs they could have like really good stuff out there, and if you're good at modeling, you're not limited to making good models, as opposed to, you know, just these rough hodgepodge. I keep saying hodgepodge, you know what I mean, like things that have just been slapped together. You don't have to make that. You could base it off other races' models, and pretty much use them if you wanted to. I'm kind of rambling here, but I realize that there's not much to talk about in this video, if I'm honest with you guys. But I think you guys get what I'm mostly getting on here. I really want to see what you guys can do when it comes to modding this work and making it your own. So by modding, I mean like modifications and all that kind of stuff. I think that's one of the key things that I really like to see. And hopefully you guys see how easy it is to put together some terrain pieces. So, you know, get out there and start changing these models for yourself. So as you can see, pretty easy. You line it up and you can flip them around and make more than the 3 that I've made here. For whatever reason, you want to make an entire long Great Wall of Orktober, you can if you want to. It's completely up to you. Now, like I said, this is not the craziest model I've ever worked on. It is kind of a filler, I will be honest, but it was a lot of fun to work on, and it's inspired me to work on another project that is an Orc Tower, an Orc Dice Tower. So you can look forward to that, and I hope you do, because it's going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, I don't know what I'm going to talk about in that one either, but you know, you gotta talk about something. Now, if you guys are looking for tutorials on my work, I highly suggest you check out some, you know, Blender 3D tutorials that are over on YouTube. Pretty much just type it in with the word tutorial and you'll find something really cool. And there's just so many out there, and I'm sure you'll find someone that's really good. I want to work on tutorials myself. I could do it for Maya, but I don't want to because of the price tag that's behind it, and I don't want to say this is the best, use this, because well, you know, it's not. It is for me, but it's not for everyone, and I think the amount that it costs alone is a massive deterrent. Like, let's face it, it's like $2,000 a year or something like that. So I don't even want to pitch it to anyone, but I do want to work on a tutorial. So maybe in the future I'll work on some Blender tutorials. But for now, I'm not going to be working on any tutorials. I'm talking about this because I'm getting a lot of messages asking me to tell you guys or show you guys how I work on the models. Pretty much, you're just going to have to, you know, kind of find your own way for a little bit. There are people out there though that are awesome and really work good at Blender 3D. I'm saying Blender 3D because it's free, so go check it out if you want to customize some of my models or make some models for yourself. It's really good fun. Bit of a time consumer, but really good fun. Anyway, a huge thanks to my patrons as always, and that's the end of this video. So thank you so much for watching, and as always, stay awesome, guys. See ya.